Good evening, live from New York. I'm Michael Smith. Thank you for joining me. We put this together in just about 3 minutes here, but I want to break into your regularly scheduled programming on NBC networks and on MSNBC to give you this election alert. We have news now that protesters earlier this evening stormed the Capitol building saying, "Stop the steal." It was really, really bad here. I want to show you some images we have of just some of the violence that we saw inside the Capitol. They say that they got into the House chamber violently and started chanting "Our Man Won," "Akon Artist," and "Stop the Count." Let's put that on your screen if we can. This is images right there. You can see it there. They're saying "Stop the Count," "Akon Artist," "Our Man Foley," etc., etc. As you can see, the live vote count on your screen there, the current vote count still stands as it is, as it has been all day, 247 to 261, as Foley is still in the lead at this hour. I'm sorry, as Akon is still in the lead at this hour, with Foley still second place with 247 votes, as Florida is still tipping the scale to Akon Artist at this hour. I want to remind all of our viewers that filtering will begin at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have just a few hours until filtering, just about 2 hours away from that. Join me now with my co-host for this special report. We're going to be on for a few minutes. Is Parker Jackson and the VP candidate for the Our Man Foley campaign. As always, joining us, William P. Nixon. Parker, how are you doing this evening? I know we're on very quickly. We've been at the office for a while this evening. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you, Michael?
I'm fine, thanks. Okay, so William, I want to ask you first your thoughts about this, because this is not looking too good. This is breaking world news. This made it to BBC. The Associated Press is reporting violence to offices, to Senate offices. They're saying that this has been put together by the Akon campaign. Again, this is not proven reports, but at this hour, that is what everyone is saying, that this was put together by Our Man supporters and Akon supporters alike. We're not sure who exactly put this on, but it's interesting nonetheless. Your thoughts about this?
Well, I went down because group management shouted it, so I went down to check it out, and yeah, things were pretty hectic down there.
Right, so, and we do know at this hour that the counting of the U.S. election has been halted at this hour. This was just about 45 minutes ago. We know that the Stop the Count effort has worked, and the FEC has stopped the count at this hour. We're trying to update our vote count at this hour to figure out what exactly the vote is. But right now, we're trying to follow multiple stories right now at this hour. Now, we also are following stories from Ukraine that U.S. forces have breached Russia. U.S. forces have reached Russia from Ukraine. They're actively fighting in Russia right now. That is reports from our war correspondent, and we have news from the Associated Press that we are on the ground, boots are down in Russia right now. Park, your thoughts about all of this going on tonight?
I mean, it all looks like it's coming from our current president, Bayan Filipino, and this recklessness. I mean, he was the one that initiated this Capitol riot. If you look about it, he was the one that announced it, saying, protest at the Capitol, and now here he is sending our troops into Russia, which I don't really see the reason for. So yeah, it's recklessness on behalf of our current president, Bayan Filipino, who actually was a part of this presidential campaign, and I really honestly have not been following what happened to him. Did he drop out?
Yeah. That's great questions indeed, and I just want to say this has been a crazy ride for many of us in the news cycle with this election almost being over. But I mean, I'm not sure when this election is going to end, because it seems like the FEC has pretty much halted counting of mail-in ballots, as well as it looks like Parker, actually, that's a good question. It looks like that the actual Stop the Count effort actually at the Capitol may have worked at this hour. I'm not. That may have worked, and that did work. They have stopped the count because of this. Listen, we have a guy that's on the front lines in Ukraine that's willing to come on. He's going to be coming on a little bit later in the broadcast. Let's see if we can have him on right now. I'm going to add him on and see if he can join us over the phone, because this is very, very much breaking story going on right now. We have over 10 troops in Ukraine right now. These are just early reports at this hour. We're trying to gather more information and news regarding this. Okay, Hound, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Hello, hello.
Yes, yes, yes. Hello. Okay, we have news now of reported we've breached Ukraine. I'm sorry, Russia. We're in there. What is the U.S. doing? What was laid out to you all?
As of about 10 minutes ago, the Department of Defense ordered a breach of Russia. We deployed at the Ukrainian border and are currently assisting Ukrainian armed forces. We have multiple images of us penetrating the Russian outpost now.
Yeah, let's go ahead and show you some images on the screen. If I can pull that up, let's see if we can do that because I want the viewers to see what I'm seeing on my screen. So this is, let me just put this on my screen. Hold on, I'm getting multiple sources sending me images and videos through our newsroom and through online. Okay, so you can see on your screen there. That is a militant who is actually, this is at the Russian border, I believe. We are fighting there. Now, I want to show you, these are Humvees leaving Ukraine, and I believe this is going to Russia.
The Humvees are part of a convoy that are heading towards the Russian outpost in Ukraine. A massive assault was launched in coordination with the Ukrainian forces.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. So, what is the goal of this right now? What is the main goal?
Hopefully, the goal is to push Russia back to where they came from. We are working with the Ukrainian PM personally, who is as well on the front lines with us, as well as President Bayan, and we are fighting alongside all our conscripts and fellow soldiers to make sure Russia gets what they deserve.
Okay, that's really good. Parker, any questions about that?
Yeah, I do. Who was the one that gave the orders to this? Was this President Ban?
So there was discussions of an invasion occurring, and then the idea came from members of the Department of Defense to invade Russia since we are currently at war with them. And then the president swiftly ordered the invasion of Russia, so we headed to Ukraine and assisted them invading Russia.
Well, technically, the war with Russia was dropped, if you think about it, because the Ukrainians in their Nazism remarks. So what changed within the Bain administration after making those comments? I find this all reckless, honestly.
So this is just really crazy. It is.
I think it's because
he's finally willing to work with Nazis now that he doesn't need to win a presidential election.
I think that he's just going to start driving our country into the ground before he gets out of office and leave the work for the next president, because if you think about it, we just saw him announce the Capitol riot. Now he's sending troops into Russia for really no given reason, no good reason at least at all. So it's something very interesting that we're going to have to watch here.
Yes, that is true.
So I want to interrupt everyone because I'm getting word from my source that the Ukrainian Prime Minister is actually on line 3 requesting to come on the show. We're gonna have him on the program as soon as this is done. Okay, so what are the conditions on the ground, Hound? What are you all seeing, and how long do you think this is gonna take?
It can take days, and there are mass casualties on both sides. A Humvee was blew up by an IED, and the president is confirming now that the Russians unconditionally still wanted war, and in fact he's trying to get onto the line right now asking to be let in. But yeah, there are casualties on all sides, and it is a massacre out here.
Okay, have you lost people so far in the last few minutes of this happening, or has it been kind of a slow progression?
Yes, we have. I was with the Ukrainian Prime Minister just a few minutes ago on the front lines, and the soldiers escorting us were hit by enemy sniper and machine gun fire, and the bombardments are continuous and insane.
How many troops do you estimate of the U.S. troops have been killed?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, Ukrainian troops are in the masses.
All right, let me make a statement.
Well, Bain, if I'm being honest here,
situation because he's not a part of the
so then what is the situation? We
could you please let me explain, you fucking idiot? Okay.
Do we support Nazis?
As we're here on the front line, basically Russia never agreed to letting us drop out of the war, so Russia has continued on the war. We're here in Ukraine not defending them, but being here as a part of our non-aggression treaty, we're allowed to be in Ukraine, which is what we're doing right now. We're charging in Russia because we're still at war with them. If you didn't know, you could just look at the UN if you want to. The United Nations Department of Political Affairs also knows that we're at war with Russia. Not only that, we're here right now on the front lines, and we've made some significant advancements. We are here charging the Russian base here that is near the Donbass, and we have taken the base several times. Right now, it's in contention. It's in contest between U.S. forces and Russian forces, as there's a lot of American forces that are coming here, especially the militia. And here I am on the front line as well, shooting Russians down one by one, left and right.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna talk to you in a second. We were just trying to finish this up here. On this now, Bayan, I want to talk to you about this whole Capitol thing because this is some news that we are following from our folks in Washington. You all have been very vocal on this stop the count. It must have worked because the FEC has stopped counting, and the vote count remains 247-261, the live electoral vote tally. Akon is still in the lead, but your thoughts on this whole, I'm not sure I would call it a raid, but a invasion of the Capitol, you could say.
So basically, this movement was authorized by U.S. government officials, and as well as our moderators here and management, because we believe it is every American's right to represent their voice, especially within this election. There was double voting that was allowed in the Capitol, which is the reason why we need to stop the count so we could filter those votes out. Not only that, we believe there's been interference by different countries, so here we are protesting our right.
Okay, so I want to ask you that question again because that's a good question. You fear interference in our election by another country. What country do you feel are interfering? Because that's a good question.
So I can agree with a lot of our intelligence agencies that the Russia from our previous LUN, which still has significant influence, has been practically involved with the Armand Foley campaign. And we also know that the current Russia we're in the UN in has been talking with our own Congress members, especially our own Congress members, trying to influence the war terms that are given to us through the United Nations Department of Political Affairs, which is where we set up our war terms. So there are prime pieces of evidence that there's interference out there. We have to make sure before the results are announced that we clear those out, we clear those interferences, and that this election is truly a voice and the matter of the American people and the American people alone.
Okay.
And just as we speak, I took down a Russian soldier.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk about a report from a free news report showing, that the main goal was to let, and I quote, "let's at Speaker AR," which is Armand Foley, not steal the election. A lot of people are saying that Armand Foley has been stealing the election, which we know that both parties have been rigging the election based on the FEC report that was given to MSNBC today, that both parties have been rigging the election actively in the last 24 hours. Your thoughts about that report that both parties are rigging the election that did have bots? Your thoughts about that?
Again, like I said, I support the rights of Americans to voice up on their concerns about this election. I'm not going to speak on behalf of both campaigns, but we must agree that we need to make sure that there's election security, especially now with all these countries that are interfering. Actually, one of the senators in the United States Senate are one of the Chinese ministers of foreign affairs from the previous UN, and as well as one from the current one. So we have a lot of issues here with foreign interference. We have to think about this. We might not know if truly the voice of the American people was voiced out in these elections, which is important, which is why we had the FEC stop the count, why more than 50 plus Americans came to protest at the Capitol, which is insane because we've never seen activity like that before in the past. So, and when you see 50 plus people with one person, it's okay, it's whatever. If it's 10 people, it's still small, it's whatever. But if it's 50 people, come on, you got to voice those concerns. It's a large movement. We must understand and listen to their concerns about election security, especially when the evidence is straight out there in blank sight.
All right, so I have some news I want to get to because according to a source very close to MSNBC and NBC News, the cabinet is currently meeting right now in the Presidential Emergency Operations Center regarding the FEC filtering and the current state of the security of the Capitol right now. They are thinking about scrambling federal assets to help protect democracy and the Capitol right now. That's some unconfirmed report, but that is to a source. Parker, your thoughts about this and any questions you have, and I'm going to go to William.
Yeah, I have a question about the whole Russian interference with the election. If this is true, how would we prove that these people are from the LUN and that they are Russian members voting for Arman rather than just normal U.S. citizens?
Okay. So practically, we've done this before in previous groups. It's just group filtering. We can determine if they joined, because we can see when they joined the group and when, or if any chance they've left the group. We can also see when they've joined the Russia. So we can see if they had joined Russia beforehand, and we can also see if they left the United States. That's another characteristic towards a vote that would be disqualified. To make sure that Russia clearly isn't voting in our own elections, and that people aren't just joining our great nation and then leaving it just to interfere and mess with our elections. So sorry, I'm getting focused right now because I just murdered 3 Russians.
Yeah, okay. I want to talk to you about. I want to bring something up because I just got a statement in I was handed by the Prime Minister of Ukraine. Has told me as of this evening around 9:30 Eastern Time, American time, the U.S. Has been deployed to the front line. I need to put my credit card up. Oh my gosh. The U.S. has been deployed to the front lines. I joined soldiers as a thanks of support. The war has been tough. The Russians have not given up yet. We need support. Ukraine thanks all U.S. troops and volunteers fighting on our front line. I am so desperate for our nation that myself, have been on the front line. We hope to move forward on goals with the U.S. I also serving on the front lines with Hound, then almost assassinated. Thank you all. So that was a statement from him given to NBC News. Your thoughts about that?
Right now, we're getting information that there's a possibly new Ukrainian administration coming in. So we're trying to discuss that right now at the same time with UNDPA political affairs. If you want, I can actually stream the war for you if you'd like.
Yeah, let's get some video in. Yeah, that'd be good. For the short time you'll be here. Thanks. I'll put that up on the screen. So I want to say this, and this is a national security advisor is giving me this, by the way. I want to tell you as well. He is calling. This is Flower Soup, by the way. He is calling an emergency NSC meeting, national security meeting. And now I want to give you a message that he has given all Americans. He says, all American citizens who are not in the military, go home and stay out of the war. That is from the National Security Advisor, Flower Soup, which may be some good advice tonight. Okay, so this is live video we have from a Humvee. Let's go ahead and put that on the screen for you. Now, this is live video we have. This is on the ground. Where is this video?
We're in the Donbass region currently in Ukraine.
Okay, so are you all heading to Russia or are you staying in this region?
We're heading towards Russia right now. As you can tell, the path is blocked. Let's see. Yeah, the path is blocked currently. I do not have a weapon for some reason.
Okay.
But, yeah, right there. You see the Russian flag?
Okay, so that's Russia. So that is Russia over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see
Okay.
the Russian forces over here.
Wow.
You can see even in the distance, there's some American soldiers that are still coming. We're under fire. Sacrificing our life here. An American soldier just died in front of me.
Wow.
Wow. A hero right there. A hero right there. We have to hide behind the Humvee. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Is that the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff on the floor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's on the floor. Okay, you see it? Look at that patriotism. An American just crashed into the Russian base. Charging in. We're charging in. We just murdered the Russian. They murdered the Russian. Oh, look at that. America. Look at that. You see that Russian soldier? Oh, he's getting shot. No, that American. Oh, look at
Yeah,
that!
let's keep on this video. Go ahead. Let's keep
Oh,
on
that's
this.
crazy. Oh, look, all the Russian soldiers in the entrance. They're gone. The entrance is open. We can storm the Russian base. Oh, look at that U.S. soldiers. We're heading into the base. We're heading into the base. We now claim this base as American territory. Oh, the Russians, they're here. They're shooting at us. They don't know I'm here. The president of the... Oh my God. They're here now. Oh, he's dead. One of the soldiers are dead. I'm making a run for it. You gotta get behind
I'm
the
gonna get a cup
lines.
of coffee. Wow. Yeah, let's stay on this. Let's stay on this because this is
I've been
good.
knocked out.
Yeah.
I've been knocked out. I'm being sent back on the helicopter. We're back up here. We have to. Let's take a gun with us this time. Put on some military equipment that's been given to us by the Ukrainian army. Let's deploy back. Look, U.S. soldiers here are preparing. U.S. soldiers here are preparing. As you can see, we're getting ready here to launch another convoy into the Russians. They're losing left and right. We've shot them. You've seen it. The Americans are winning this advancement. The Russians deployed, and they're still losing. So this shows the might of the U.S. military and our American
You can go down and get some coffee, Parker.
Oh yeah, I just have a question for Bayan before I go. What is the end to this? How do we see the Americans take over? Like, what is the quote-unquote end to the battle? How do you know who wins and who loses?
By the Russians, we'll know who wins once we get a statement from the Russian foreign minister, who is currently speaking or has been saying that the Russians have been deployed. So this is a battle now. So we're going to be fighting this out until we see Russians no longer cease to control the base. Once they no longer control the base, we'll have an advantage in diplomatic talks once we get there.
And so how long do you think this would take, considering that once you die, you just get respawned?
This will take probably an hour. We'll see. War takes a while, so let's just keep pushing forward. More U.S. military soldiers are beginning to report here as we speak. As you can see, a battalion just dropped right there. We're again outside the Russian military base.
What would be the outcome if we were to seize this base here?
We
Would
could
it
get
be
the Russians to take down their war terms that they've been putting up so confidently because they believe that they're going to win. But here you can see U.S. forces dominating Russian forces.
This is great footage here. I want to thank you for this. Let's go ahead and cut back into the newsroom here. I want to just go ahead and continue to reiterate here that our breaking news at this hour, this vote has been stopped, and Americans are on the ground in Russia and the Donbass region. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Look at that. On camera. You can see that live. We have live footage there. We're coming back to the newsroom here, so I want to reiterate again: we are live from that region, and we do have no information that the vote has been stopped, and right now we're looking at an active trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. But the vote has been stopped, and the current vote tally still is Foley 247 and Akon 261, with Akon still in the lead at this hour. Continue to check back with MSNBC for the latest news, as tomorrow we may be off, but tomorrow we will have the Today Show live. That's right, live on Today. We'll have that tomorrow to be at an earlier time, so be sure to wake up early for that. Be sure to wake up with us, get your coffee, get your pancakes, all that. Get that with us and wake up with Today. Thank you for watching this special breaking news report from New York. I'm Michael Smith, joined by Parker Jackson. Have a great evening and stay safe.